Is Miya viable? Today we'll look into whether or not in the current meta after the revamped heroes, is Miya actually viable in this new meta? And the way we're gonna do that, guys, is we're gonna look into one of Betosky's videos, since he did a video on Miya and the build he does on Miya. And I basically just want to dig into the video, look at his build, look what I think about it, what I think he could do better, and whether or not there's a spot for Miya in the current meta.
Hey guys, so in this video we're going to take a look at another revamped hero. This time it's going to be Miya. Now her passive makes her extremely strong. It will create a shadow clone of herself once she has attacked 5 times in a row. And this clone will help her melt down any hero almost instantly. These are the builds. At first I thought Demon Hunter Sword would work great with her passive, but after reading it more carefully, unfortunately it doesn't proc the Demon Hunter Sword passive. So the critical attack build is definitely the way to go.
Okay, just to touch on the item build here real quick. I like the fact that he touches on the Demon Hunter Sword actually not being viable with her passive, because I did do like a big change to her passive, adding in the Shadow Clone or whatever it's called. So that's a really good observation from Betosky here. And yeah, he does show off some really cool builds here. I will have to see them played in the game, but I do see the hash clause in there. He doesn't build them as the first item, and I think that's really important, because you don't have the damage to actually make the lifesteal viable. You need damage before a percentage lifesteal is worth it. So you want to get the damage first, the attack speed, and some crit in there. And for emblem, he does go for the increased movement speed on the marksman emblem, and I think that's fairly viable. I think that's actually what you want on Miya, because you do need a little bit of mobility, since you don't have much other mobility than your ult, and you mostly want to use your ult for either engage if you have insane good position and your tank is with you, or as a disengage, mostly as a disengage in case you get caught or something like that. Well, your ultimate does give you a lot of stacks in your passive and does ramp up your damage instantly.
In this new update, I'm not really sure if taking the red buff first is better or going to a lane. I decided to take the buff first because it allows me to hit harder, therefore I can harass the enemies better.
Okay, so Betosky here opts to go for the Retribution and the Rapture Machete. The Rapture Machete is a really great tool in order to do more damage, because it gives you, like, it's the item that has the most damage and the highest like damage per gold spent. So it's a really good item, but with the new patch you do get a less amount of experience on your lane if you do go Retribution. And I'm not sure if that's a trade I would take, especially since Miya is a very immobile hero. I would probably go towards maybe a Flicker of some kind, or Purify, some sort of escape. She does have a Purify in her ult, so maybe Flicker, just to be able to create distance in case you get caught. But yeah, he does go for the red tree. Let's see how that plans out for him.
The most important thing about this side lane now is not to miss the catapults, because those are the ones that carry the extra benefit, either more gold or experience. I would recommend leveling up her second skill first, because the extra damage that it gets after you level it up is way better than the first skill in the early game. When the middle to late game is approaching, start leveling up her first skill instead, because now you have more items, her first skill will be more effective.
That's some great insight. I like the things he points out, especially with the cannon minion being the most important minion. But he did go on experience lane, and he did go jungle item, and since he removes experience by I think 40% if you go jungle item, the experience lane might be a little bit of a waste, to be honest, because you're gonna take 40% off of that flat experience the cannon minion gives you. Maxing his second ability, actually I normally max the first skill, but after hearing what he said, I think I will max his second ability too. Because I like maxing the first one because it's better for team fight and better for wave clear and stuff like that. But I have to agree that your damage is probably too low early game to actually capitalize on the damage bonus you get from your first skill. So I think that's a really good insight. Betosky is really good at analyzing heroes and actually have a really nice way to put out the information to you guys.
This game would have been a lot easier if my tank actually stayed with me, but unfortunately he doesn't seem to be too experienced in the game. When you have this kind of teammate, try not to get tilted, just play on. But maybe you can give them some tips and see if that helps. It's worth a try. It's a 50-50 chance, might as well take the chance than not trying at all.
That is actually some amazing advice, guys. if you are playing with some teammates and they're not doing what you want them to do, try not to tilt and just try and focus on your own gameplay. Adapt to the fact that your tank is leaving the lane. Maybe play a little bit more of a defensive game, and just try to get out as much farm as possible, especially as a marksman. The most important thing for you to do early game is just get that farm. So if your tank leaves you, you're in a high pressured lane, fall back, get the farm you can, and just try to not feed. And just adapt to the fact that your teammate is not on the same page as you are. Okay guys, so you're about to see him talking about how Miya is actually kind of strong early game and you can take some fights. But in my opinion, the fight he's about to take here, he uses his ult as engage, and it's a versus a Saber. I'm pretty sure if Saber had just gone in on him flat, that would have been a kill on like the Miya here. Because Miya is a very squishy target and Saber does a lot of damage after this patch. Not even without items, he can still do a lot of damage.
If you know the enemy is not really farmed, then don't be afraid and play more aggressively. Don't underestimate Miya's damage. Even in the early game, she's quite strong.
You have slain an enemy, Dark, but our path outlives everything. Ally has been slain.
Miya's damage is so insane that Hayabusa didn't have the chance to finish his combo before melting him almost instantly.
Killing spree.
You can use her ultimate to get into a better position and surprise the enemy.
May the moon forever shine upon.
I really enjoy watching his videos. They're so high quality. Like, he really breaks down the hero in one game, and it's just very impressive to see.
I saw that Tigger is coming to the top lane. I will reposition first and make sure I don't get affected by his ultimate. Remember, positioning is extremely important whenever you are playing a marksman.
Not just very important, it's the most important thing, guys. That's a good call. Always look at the minimap. Pay attention to things like this. I would probably have missed it a bit. Grabbed by that tag real old, and that, like, small things like that is what can lose you the game.
In this game, I decided to go to lane first, and I think it works better in general. I gain more gold and experience this way. Players really gotta stop making this kind of mistake. It put your team in such a huge disadvantage. And this is the reason why you should like and subscribe, so less players make this kind of very silly mistake. Winky face.
What he means with the roam item and like them buying it two at a time is the roam item kind of breaks if you both buy it at the same time, and it just makes it so the two people who have the roam item won't get experience and won't get gold for minions, and since they have the same amount of gold, none of them will get the passive reward from roam item. You kind of need to have one person have a little bit more gold than the other before both gets roam item. Else, you won't get level 2 for like the first 4 to 5 minutes. This is honestly something I feel like Moontoon should look into and kind of fix, because it's just a dumb thing, and it always makes the early game awkward if you have a tank and a support or two tanks that wants to go roam item. Guys, I'll leave a link down in the description to Betoskys' channel. Make sure to check him out. He really puts out some high quality content. And while you're at liking and subscribing, of course, hit down the likes and subscribe to my channel too if you enjoy this kind of content. And yeah, let's try to hit 25 likes in this video. I'm really trying to up my content and make it a bit more higher quality and a bit more informative and helping out you guys. So if that's something you like, hit the like button. In this match, he's going gold lane and he's got flicker, which is the two things I talked about in the last game, which if I were to play Miya, this is the things I would do. I would go in the gold lane to make sure I can get my items quick, because as a marksman, you really need those items to give you a damage spike, and you need the flicker for the survivability, the engage, mostly the survivability, because that makes it so you can use your ultimate for more engaged and higher pressure moments more aggressively. You can use your ultimate more aggressively, and then if you do get caught, you can use your flicker to fall back again.
And Grok never came back. He will be AFK for the rest of the game. But since Miya is so strong in this new update, she can be carrying a 4v5 situation. I saw that Farsa is in the top lane, and Narochango is pushing the middle lane. There is a very high chance she will try to defend the middle lane, so I will try to anticipate her next move.
You can't run from my arrow. You have slain an enemy.
So that's a great call, and Yeah, he does use the flicker aggressively together with his ult aggressively. That is a very dangerous move, especially since he doesn't have vision on the whole of enemy team. But it does work out for him, and I think he's pretty much safe because Chang'e was pretty much on the same page, and they just got the pick real quick, got the fast out of the way, and now they can just push the tower. Just need to be careful of ganks.
Remember to use her ultimate to catch the enemy by surprise. Her ultimate is so versatile, you can either use it defensively or offensively.
True.
Since it's a 4v5, I have to play extra careful and smarter. If I make one single mistake, we're probably just going to lose the game.
How much more suffering will it take? Where do you think you're going?
Now that 2 of the enemies are down and Cho is going towards the top lane, this is the best chance to take the Lord. Pull the Lord so the enemy cannot see the amount of HP the Lord has left.
On my way.
Very important, guys. I think that's like one of the things that's very missed. Because if you don't pull it out, they can sit in this bush and they can sit in the other bush up in the. Wait, I'm showing you right real quick. You can sit in this bush up here, or they can sit in this bush right here, and they can see the HP and they can just wait. And as soon as it's low, they can try and do a steal. But if you pull it out, you'll be able to see them first of all, and you'll be able to do damage to them and try and push them away. So they have to put themselves in a bad position in order to see the Lord's HP. Also, Miya is a super strong solo Lorder once you get the Hash Claws. Because of her passive, it gives her so much attack speed, and the Hash Claws just give her the sustain she needs to take Lord, even solo.
Forever shine upon. Double kill.
I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. Thanks.
So I ended the game here with attack speed boots and the Windtalker, Berserker's Fury, Hash Claws, and actually a Queen Wings. And I think he specifically went for the Queen Wings since he didn't have a tank. His tank was FK, so the Queen Wings was a really good idea here. You can kind of see he has like a standard build. He kind of goes for the Windtalker, the Berserker's Fury, the Hash Claws, and then he adapts to the situation with the Queen Wings. That's very important, guys. If you're doing any sort of build of any character, take a good build, and then for every game, customize it. I don't know if you noticed, but last game, he actually went for the Winchant, because he was against assassins like Hayabusa, and he was against Layla, a lot of physical damages, and that just gives you 2 seconds of invulnerability, and that's all you need on Miya in order to take those guys down. So yeah, now the question is, in this meta, is Miya viable? As you can see, she seems so strong when you watch these videos, and honestly, I think she is very strong. The higher rank you get, you sort of get more into like carry potential or assassin metas, and I think it's harder to play Miya in an assassin setting. But she does have a very big damage burst potential, and in my opinion, I do think she's one of the few marksmen that actually is viable. But you definitely need to like push your mechanics, and you really need to be on top of your positioning. If your positioning is just a little bit off, then Miya just becomes not as viable. And again, I do think since you do have your ult with your Purify on that ult, Flicker definitely is the summoner spell you should go for most of the time if you really want to pick Miya. And I think all the way up to Mythic, Miya is definitely viable, guys. Definitely. Once you start hitting Mythical 1, Glory and above, I think she's going to be less and less viable. Because you're gonna start seeing more and more assassin coming into the crowd, like Lance. They're gonna be offensive against her. It's gonna be harder for her to farm. Like a lot of good players actually targets marksmen, so that makes it so the marksman can't get farm early game, and then they just snowball the game. With that said, though, in this new Project Next patch, games do tend to get longer. You do see 20 to 30 minute games more often than ever before. Like the last few days I played, the shortest games I had one game that was 6 minutes long, where the enemy team surrendered, but most of my games are on average at least 15 to 20 minutes, and that makes heroes like Miya shine a lot more, because they need that late game. That is my take on Miya, and whether or not she's viable and what build you should go for it. I think Betosky basically nailed it. You do want your early Windtalker and Berserker Sphere, and of course your attack speed boots. It's just so much damage, and then into the Hat's Claw, so he has some sustain. Because he doesn't have any other sustain other than the lifesteals he gets from there. And yeah, that's gotta be it for this video. My take on Miya. Try her out, guys. See if it's something for you, and try to push your rank. And let me know what you like, how your games goes with Miya, and what you think about her down in the comments. And I'll see you in the next video.